This morning I'm going to make some crumpets. So the first thing I've done is absorbed me these crumpet tins, and they've been washed. I've just oiled them because that's where the batter is going to go. And these look fairly simple to make, so we'll see how it's going to go here. So here's the recipe that I've taken off of Pinterest. It's very simple. It goes together somewhat like a pancake batter, and then you just put it into the crumpet tin. So let's see how this is going to roll out. So I have the yeast, the sugar, and 3/4 of a cup of water in this bowl. So here we've got 2 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1 teaspoon of salt. So I'm just going to mix these together, and I'm just waiting for the yeast mixture to froth up. We're going to put it all together. Got a bit of a coldish thing going on here, so my voice is a little scratchy, so just heads up there. All right, so my yeast has frothed up. I'm just going to pour that into the flour. Now, you can just, this is going to be a very wet, very much like I said, like a pancake batter. So as opposed to a bread dough. I'm just going to, actually, I'm going to put the camera down so I can get the rest of the yeast out of there. And now I'm going to pour the rest of the water in here. So you might be thinking, okay, well, your channel deals with self-sufficiency, so what's with all the bread? Well, if you've ever looked at your bread ingredients on your, like from a store-bought bread, you'll see there's a whole bunch of things in there that you might not want. And now that bread is starting to become, like it can be upwards of $5 for a loaf of bread, it's much easier and tastes a lot better just to make it myself. The other thing is that if things start to go south, your local store may offer homemade bread. Like I know mine has a bakery, so that's for sure. But you might not be able to get the other items that would come off of a truck, like your factory-made bagels or crumpets and things like that. So I'm just trying to have some go-to recipes. The future is uncertain, and I just think it's smart to start to get things figured out now. All right, a heads up here. I actually had to add another 1/2 cup of water to get it to a batter type consistency. So I mentioned, I'm not sure what's going on here. I'm going to calibrate this measuring cup that I use just to make sure that a cup is a cup is a cup, because if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, right? So anyway, I did add another 1/2 cup of water, and I now have to let this sit for about 15 minutes. All right, as a side adventure here, I've got a measuring cup, a metal one, 1 cup. Now I've just got to add a little bit more water to fill this right up, and I'm going to put it into this glass measuring cup just to see, is 1 cup 1 cup, or is that why I'm having difficulties with my recipes? So I poured the water out of the metal measuring cup into the glass measuring cup, and look at that. They are not equal, which is just strange. I also expected that I would have a lesser amount, I think, in the glass cup. I thought this one would measure more. It looks like it would. So this is very interesting. What is a cup? And I guess that's where some of these recipes are failing, because these measuring cups are not consistent. All right, we're just getting ready now. This, the batter has been proofing, I guess, on my warming center for 10 to 15 minutes. I want to turn this on a medium heat. I don't want them to burn. I just need them to cook. So what I saw in one of the videos is somebody using an ice cream scooper. So that's what I'm going to do. I want to see how this is all going to work out. So I've got the rings all set up and ready to go. now I'm just going to get some batter rolling here. All right, so we'll start. We'll see how this is going to work. Well, I do want to wait until I've got the pan heated up sufficiently. So I can tell you I'm still a little concerned about the thickness of this batter. So time will tell. So I mentioned that my stove had died the other day when I was making bagels. It actually superheated, burnt the top of the bagels off. So Hubs has got me a brand spanking new oven, and I just love it. It's is it Samsung? Yeah, it's a Samsung. And yeah. So I can feel the heat radiating off the top of this, so I think it's ready to go. So the ice cream scoop actually works really well, but it's a two-handed job here, so I'm going to go back to just getting the rest of these loaded. So I've got 5 of these already cooking, and I still have quite a bit of batter left, so I think this is going to make more, perhaps, than the 8. We'll see. And I can already see there's bubbling starting on the tops of these. So, of course, there was a bubble. So I can see that I've overfilled a couple of these tins, which is fine. The next batch will be better. And I can also see the development of the little crevices that Crumpets are famous for. So that's good. Hubs just walked in. It's like, what happens next? And I said, well, from what I've seen, I've got to take them out of the tin and to cook this side. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work, but we're going to find out. I'm cooking this at a very low temperature because they're going to have to be in here for a while. And this is a new pan, which I also noted actually cooks really well. It heats up very fast, and I don't want to burn things. So this is coming along pretty good. I am concerned about these the larger muffins, Crumpets, I guess here. These are toasting up very nicely on the underside, but this is a smaller one, and it feels like it's getting almost done. I think it's going to take these guys longer, so the undersides of these may be more brown. Let's just hope they're not black. Although, burnt bagels weren't bad. Another side note is this is another cup from the metal set, and so what I did was I poured the water back into this cup, and exactly 2 of them fit into the 1 cup. So the set is actually calibrated correctly. So but I still don't know who's actually got the right measurement. So I did manage to get the crumpet out of the ring, but not without a little bit of damage to the side. So for these guys, I'm just going to roll them right over with the ring on. So not 100% thrilled with the thickness of the batter. I added yet another half cup. So now we're talking a full cup extra of water to get it to a very loose batter. I think that'll work much better, and we're going to check it in the next batch I cook here. So this is looking quite nice, but again, I still think the batter is too thick, so we're going to have another look at that. Okay, they aren't looking too bad. They're extremely thick though, and you notice the lack of crevices. They'll probably taste good, but still some ways to go here. This is what the thinned out batter looks like, and it is starting to, I don't know, percolate, I guess. Looks like there will be more crevices here, so definitely having to make more adjustments to this recipe. All right, so I'm getting somewhere because I just tried to, I just washed my hands, put water on there. I just tried to just lift this up to look at the base, and it just slid right off. So I think let's do this again. Yeah, look at that. That's actually what we're supposed to be getting. Once this is a little bit more done on top, I will flip them over. But I do want to check the bottom side here because I turned it up thinking that I need just a little bit, maybe more heat to get those bubbles. But I'm going to turn it back down now that I know that we've got the right consistency of the batter. We're not going to turn these over until the tops of these have look more like the edges. So once the tops look like the edges, then I can turn it over and brown it. So just look at the difference between the lighter, thinner batter with more water versus this original recipe batter. Once I've got the recipe tailored the appropriate amount of water, I'll make sure I've got that posted below. All I can say right now is that when you're creating any bread products, you're going to have to really get to know your dough. Bread doughs have a certain consistency, regardless of what the recipe tells you. You know when that dough is ready. Same thing for this crumpet recipe. The crumpet batter should be very light. Even though I didn't even show what it looked like just based on the recipe, it was very, very thick. And so I guess the best way to do it is experiment yourself. Your measuring tools may also be incorrect, as mine certainly seem to be. There's something off there. So as long as you know how to bake with your tools, I think that's the important thing. So I'm cooking the remainder here, and then we're gonna move on to some breakfast.